Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today for another lunch break webinar series. Today is a bit of a last-minute impromptu session, and what we're trying to do today is explain how to properly use the pest management guide for Christmas trees, which is available through Perennia's resource page. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time showing you how to work through that and what you would do to use that document if you had a weed or insect problem. So if you could take a second to just type into the Q&A box and let me know what your weed or insect problems currently are, and then we'll use a couple of those as examples when we get into using the main documents. I say we've already had a few entries, so I'll just give a few more minutes and see if anyone else has anything else to add. And otherwise, we'll get started right away, and you can add your insect or weed problems into the Q&A box while we're going along. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jay Woodworth. You can't see me today, so there's a photo there. I work as the Christmas tree specialist for Perennia Food and Agriculture, and I work very closely with the Christmas Tree Council of Nova Scotia. My phone number is displayed there and my email as well. If you have more questions or specific issues that you'd like to chat about outside of this webinar, feel free to reach out to me at either one of those contact details. So as I mentioned, this is an extra webinar series as part of our lunch break series, which usually take place at the same time, noon to 1, but on the last Tuesday of each month. And we do different topics for each month, basically depending on where we're at in the season and what growers are requesting. All of those sessions are recorded and you can find them on YouTube. You can follow the link listed there, or you can just go on and search YouTube for Christmas Tree Council of NS. And you'll see all our past videos come up and be available to you there. If you're interested in joining the mailing list for the webinar session so that you'll have details to join going forward and reminders, you can email Brittany. Her email address is outreach@ctcns.com, as shown there on the screen. All right, today's session is using the Christmas Tree Pest Management Guide, which was just recently launched this month and made available to growers. So the intention of the Christmas Tree Pest Management Guide is to be a simplified document that is a full outline of the registered pesticide products for the control of pests in Christmas trees and in balsam fir. It's divided into 3 main sections so that they're all easily accessible. The first one is the control of weeds and ground competition. The next one is control of insects, and then there's a table on product toxicity listed as well. It's meant to be the initial tool in pesticide decisions. So this is not meant to be the be-all, end-all. If you need more detailed decision-making tools, you can follow along by accessing the Christmas Tree Pest Management spreadsheet, which you can get through me at my contact information as displayed, and always, always refer to the pesticide label before purchasing and before applying any pesticide products. So if you go to Perennia's website, it's at www.perennia.ca. I have it displayed on the screen for you. That's our slide header right now. And you can see up at the top left-hand corner, there's a tab that says Resources. So I'm pointing to that now. If you click on that tab, it takes you into our resource library. So this is also accessible by perennia.ca/resources. And what you can do on here is filter through by category and search by specific keywords. So if you go in here and search the keyword Christmas tree, the Christmas Tree Pest Guide Manual document will pop up for you, as well as some other resources. And this is what it looks like. So this is a guide to weed, insect, and disease management in Christmas trees. There are similar guides for the other commodities and other crops that Perennia deals with. And this one is designed specifically for Christmas tree growers to use in making quick decisions. This is the next page of it. So you can see it has some warning labels issued on it as well. As I mentioned before, you always want to confirm information with pesticide. So any recommendations that come through from our specialists are not intended to be the be-all, end-all. You always need to confirm that information with the pesticide label, which is of course your responsibility as a pesticide applicator. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the guide and we'll just work through it quickly. I see white mark toxic moth listed as an example, so I think we'll use that one. So when you download the document, it's going to come up as a PDF guide, just like you see here. So you can scroll right down through the document. You can get information. You can see how it's laid out. So you can see here, this is the first section, weeds and ground competition. It's broken down into pre-emergence weeds and post-emergence. And it has a variety of products listed there. So you can see what group the pesticide is in, the active ingredient of the pesticide. You can see the product's common name as it's distributed by, and you can click on that and it will open up the pesticide label for you right from Health Canada to save you having to go on a search. There are also recommended rates listed for Christmas trees. These are the rates right off the label. The restricted entry interval, if there are one, is listed there as well. And there's a few remarks. So that's where I've gone through and put in any comments that you need, if you need specific application rates for a specific weed or a specific insect, or if there's, for example, if you need to be supervised when applying, that's all listed there for you. So you'll have a good idea what needs to be considered when purchasing these products. If you scroll down, there's another table. This is the insect section. So this one is broken down by individual target insect. And you can see the same thing. You can access the pesticide label just by hovering over that blue underlined product name. The active ingredient is listed. The group is listed there. The re-entry interval, if applicable, and remarks. The remarks for insects are a bit more detailed just because there's more information necessary. And then if you scroll to the bottom page, you can see that there is a product toxicity table. So those are all the common names of the active ingredients as listed. The trade name, so for example, glyphosate would be sold as Roundup and other various products. And you can see the toxicity levels as it applies to bees and to the applicator, both oral and dermal applications. As well, at the end of the document, there's a pesticide emergency contact information guide, some conversion information, and that's it. So it's meant to be a simplified document to give you some answers very quickly so you have an idea of what active ingredient you should be looking for to target specific pest problems. I'm going to scroll back up to the top and we'll go through and use the white marked tussock moth as an example. So if you have this open in a PDF reader, I'm using Adobe here, what you can do on your keyboard is hit Control F, and that'll bring up your find bar. So you have your find bar up and we said we're going to look for white marked tussock moth. So you can just go ahead and type in white marked and you'll see the matches come up. So there's 2 here. And this will tell you what insecticides will target white marked tussock moth. So you can see here, there's one there in group 3, ambush, pounce, perm up, emulsifier. Those are 3 that you can use to target white marked tussock moth. And then you'll notice there's also another one here. You can go down and that's in your comments. So it's going to give you the exact time when you should be applying the product, what rate to apply it, any other relevant information so that you'll know how to target it immediately. So as you can see, that took us maybe less than 10 seconds to find 3 products that will target white marked tussock moth just using this document. So very simply. The herbicide applications are, you need to do a little bit more thinking. Those are broken into pre-emergence, post-emergence. So you'll have to be able to identify broadleaf and grassweed species, which I don't anticipate anyone will have a problem with doing. The other thing I wanted to show you is the full spreadsheet, which is already broken down into far more detail. I keep that spreadsheet with me because it's updated very regularly. So if you do have specific questions on what, for example, if you're looking to target a specific weed and you don't know where it quite fits into these categories on the pest guide, then you can just send me off an email and I'll be happy to look it up for you in the spreadsheet. So we're going to go ahead and bring that one over now, just to show you how we go about doing that. So this is the Christmas tree pest guide spreadsheet. It's a far more detailed version of what you just saw in the published guide. But the advantage to this one is that I can filter it by category. So for example, if we're looking for something to target, let's say goldenrod, that's a good common one. I can go right in here and say I'm looking for a herbicide. Pest, I should be able to find goldenrod. Yep, no problem. So goldenrod fits right in here. It's also listed in that next one. So it's given us 2 herbicides that will treat goldenrod, group and active ingredient is the same, so that just means that there's going to be 2 different product names you can purchase it under. Both of them are listed as Valpar, and you can see the only difference here is the registration number. Both are marketed by Bayer. And then the comments are listed here as well. And again, all this information is straight off the pesticide label, so it is accurate. The pre-harvest interval is listed here as well as your re-entry interval, and some further remarks if there are any applicable to specific Christmas tree growers. So that's how you can get more information if you're interested. Today's session wasn't intended to be long. I just wanted to give you a heads up that this document is published and it's now available to you for you to use. So go ahead and use it. And if you have more questions, as always, you can contact me directly through my email or phone number, and I'll put that back up for you right now so that you can record it quickly if need be. Otherwise, thanks very much for joining us for another lunch break webinar session. Coming up at the end of August in our regular series, we're going to do genetics and seed collection. And I do believe we have a guest speaker coming who most of you will be familiar with. That'll be announced shortly. And then into the fall, we're going to start our safety series. So we have a 2-part safety series coming up. The first one will be delivered by Forest Safety Society, and the second one delivered by Farm Safety Nova Scotia. So these 2 sessions will be a fully comprehensive look over at the safety conditions you should be considering for your business and for your lots. Thank you again for joining us. Take care. I'm going to do a real quick check of the Q&A box, and I'll respond to individual questions directly to the grower that sent them in. So thank you again for joining us. Take care.